Hello, my name is Chris and I will review the Mazda CX-30 2021. This is the GT all-wheel drive with the turbo engine. I will look at the exterior, interior, take it out on the road, and explain to you why it is the best subcompact crossover in the market. That is debatable though, I will explain why later. Looking at it from the outside, some comment that it looks more like a big hatchback with higher ground clearance, and that is certainly a valid observation. I just think it looks good with cool wheels, a nice paint job, and impeccable build quality. The trunk room is not too shabby. You'd think this design would compromise on that. Not so. Ross actually let us see the trunk this week. The rear seat room is not very good, and I barely had enough room to sit behind myself. If rear back seat room is your thing, I'm not sure the CX-30 is for you. In front, it's much better. There is more room here, and although not the roomiest in the category, it was okay. What an incredible heightened level of design, luxurious materials, and build quality here. In this regard, CX-30 appears to come from another world when compared to its rivals. With the exception of the infotainment interface that should be a full-time touchscreen and closer to the driver, this interior is a masterclass in value and good taste. In this category in particular, Mazda is so far ahead. The Bose sound system plays well, the leather seats are more comfortable than the CX-5, there is a heads-up display, and the 18-inch mags are once again awesome. G-Vectoring now incorporates software, steering, and chassis to provide an effortless drive in curves and uneven terrain, making it less tiring. If you are looking for a bigger subcompact crossover, see the excellent Seltos, reliable HR-V, and good all-around Qashqai. The engine is a 4-cylinder turbo that makes 227 horsepower and 310 pounds of torque with a 6-speed automatic and regular gas. The most powerful engine in the class, but thirstiest, it's up to you. Mazda lets you choose. Personally, I like the non-turbo option. This turbo does 10.5 liters in the city and 7.9 liters on the highway. The EPA says 2230 mpg, the IIHS says CX-30 is a top safety pick. Plus, here are my thoughts on the road.
Hello car lovers, driving the Mazda CX-30 GT Turbo 2021, that's a mouthful. So what do I think about this vehicle? Well, I think it's the best in the category, and I will explain why, and I will temper that with some considerations. We'll start with the exterior styling. I love the exterior styling of Mazda. I think it looks beautiful. I think they've adapted well the Mazda look to this size, to this shape. And I love the paint color, I love the quality of the paint, I love the build quality, I love the black mags, I just love everything about it. So on the inside now, well, this kind of like cutish, smallish design, you feel it a bit on the inside. However, the trunk is a reasonable size for a car this big. Sitting in front is a reasonable size. I'm not rubbing elbows with Ross. The problem is when you're sitting in back. If I'm sitting behind myself, I just make it. I'm 5'9". If Ross is sitting in the driver's seat, I can't sit behind myself. So that's something to think about. If you do have back seat considerations, which are more or less normal, perhaps this is not the vehicle for you. I will talk about its competitors and address that. Sitting in front now, well, the transmission tunnel, although it is typically Mazda wide, Mazda 2 wide, it is not too high, so it is not too taxing on my mansplaining position. Same thing with the seats, although the bolstering of the legs is somewhat toughish, it's not too tough where it causes unbearable pressure points. Other than that, the seats are very comfortable, and of course the rest of it is best in class with the exception of the infotainment user interface. I'll get to that later. The quality of the materials, excellent. The quality of the assembly, excellent. The touchgear, excellent. Lowering and raising windows, excellent quality touchgear. So this is very good. It feels solid, it feels well put together. Also, the road and cabin noise is very low on the highway for the class. Other things, this digital dash is awesome. This infotainment looks good. The screen is well integrated. However, when the interface sucks, I can't stand using the Mazda interface. And I know a lot of people don't mind it. They get used to it. I just can't get used to it. The engine, transmission, how it drives, well, the suspension I find is okay. Ross finds it's a bit rough on the hardest terrain in Montreal. There's some merit to what he says, but I think it's fine. The G-Vectoring works well. You don't really feel it per se. but you feel its general competence. What I'm saying is when you take an in-hurry curve, when you're driving on uneven terrain, I've noticed the G-vectoring system really creates a very positive feeling when you're driving. It's not, you're not struggling against it. It's natural feeling. And all that now Mazda combines the software, the suspension, the algorithm for the steering. All that works together to create a seamless experience, and I have to say it's very good. The engine is the most powerful in class. It also drinks a lot. Combined with this four-wheel drive, it's quite thirsty in city driving. The transmission, 6-speed, although not the most sophisticated unit, I must say it doesn't draw attention to itself. It's snappy enough, I find at least, and also it seems to be very reliable. In fact, the reliable combination seems to be the 2.5-liter non-turbo combined with this transmission. I think you're going to have a good long-term purchase experience. This is probably one of the strongest, if not the strongest, product that Mazda makes, in my opinion. And in the category, although the competition is ferocious, I think it's the best. You could argue that there is more room and just more livability and more ease of use with the HR-V. No question. You could argue that the CHR has a more youthful look, and a look that's really not dating. It's been out since 2018. It hasn't dated. They're just as charming as ever to look at, those CHRs. That's true also. You could argue that the Nissan Qashqai is more comfortable, has better seats, has a more airy cabin, has perhaps a better value. You could argue that, definitely, and it certainly is easier to drive. But I just think that this vehicle is so competent and so charming and so high level in terms of the way it's put together, the interior quality, the driving dynamics. It just soars above the competition at this price, and that's what you want. You know, you want this excellence, and Mazda delivers. So that's the reason why I put it as number one. However, if you do buy some of the competitors that I've mentioned, for the reasons I've mentioned, it's certainly a valid choice you're making, and I think many are good in this category. So those are my thoughts. So very highly recommendable on the purchase, very highly recommendable on the lease, at least in the 2.5-liter non-turbo version, and that is the review. By the way, if you like this video, like it. If you don't like it, don't like it. And if you really like it, well then of course you should subscribe, and that is it.